Hello, everyone. This is Karol Wiczyński from Multicultural Center of Krakow. Suppose you know me, but I'm one of the people coordinating our new Multicultural Center. I hope it will be soon located on Daszyńskiego Street because we are finishing our renovation. So till now, till that time, we will meet online, and this is our next video, next live Q&A session from Fantastic Foreigners series, and we will talk about LGBT plus community in Krakow and in Poland, because we celebrate the Equality Month, May of Equality, which is the event and series of events organized by the city of Krakow. And tonight I have a pleasure to meet with three fantastic, actually not all of them are foreigners, and not all of them are even from Krakow. But still I thought, thinking of this event, that it would be great if we talk about challenges, about experiences of LGBT plus foreigners living in Poland and in Krakow, of the challenges they live here, they have to live with in Poland, and but also about some positive solutions of the way we can support them here in Poland. As we know, the situation is not easy. So yeah, if you have any questions and if you have any suggestions, if you have any comments, please leave them in the comment section. And I hope you can hear us properly and you can listen to us properly. Let me know if you are here with us, and leave me a message in the comment that you can hear us properly. Today I talk with Adrian Lopez. He is Erasmus trainee who will do his apprenticeship. It seems like, you know, you are going to be like magical school in Federacja Znaki Równości from May till July 2021. And Adrian is from Murcia. He studies political science, and he has already studied in Krakow as an Erasmus student. So welcome one more time, Adrian. And, we also have Dawid Wojteczka, who is human rights activist and fundraiser for Domek, one of the hotspots for LGBT plus community in Krakow, I can say. It's Krakow Equality Center, and David is also Pride Network chairperson for State Street Bank Poland. Thank you, David, for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
And Anna, last but not least, diversity and inclusion trainer. She works actively for the LGBT plus community in the Stonewall Group in Poznan, but Grupa Stonewall is one of the most famous organizations working for LGBT plus community in Poland. And as a board member, she co-creates the vision of the organization, which seems fascinating. And as a trainer, she provides education and expert support in the diversity field, focusing mainly on topics related to the presence of LGBT plus people in public spaces and workplaces, such an important work. And since 2018, she has been conducting diversity management trainings in Poznan companies. On a daily basis, she works in IT, in the e-commerce industry, managing products and projects. Anna, thank you very much for being with us and virtually traveling to Krakow. And maybe you can start, because I can see there are some people with us right now. Maybe you can start and present yourself and your organization and your work.
Okay, thank you, and you already told a lot of things about me, so I can add a few more things, especially around my activism. So I'm working in a Stonewall Group, but you have to know that in Poland we are calling it that we are working in NGOs, but we mainly do not receive any money for this. For this reason, I have to work in IT, so I cannot, have all day for working for Stonewall because I have to, work for life. But it is still very important for me to be actively supporting LGBT people in Poland because I have, let's call, IT background and working in different companies in Poland, and not only Polish companies, but international companies as well. For this reason, we decided that I will lead a group of people that are training people in other companies. And because we know that people spend a lot of life in their jobs, and not being open in your job, in your work life is sometimes really a huge issue, not only for you personal, because it is obviously, but we are still educating companies that this is also a huge issue for the company, as well for the revenue reasons, because we created a story and a pattern that we can use, and we are using in different companies to calculate how much money a company is losing because of people sitting in a closet. So it is really, these are really huge amounts. So for this reason, we are educating that it's really important to include everyone at the workplace, to be open, to fight for diversity and get as much as possible benefits from this diversity, because it's already proven, scientifically proven and business proven, that diversity is really good for the business. And with this, we are, having these trainings, but still in the Stonewall Group, we are not only focusing on companies and earning money, but we are also creating a lot of activities to support local LGBT people, plus people, but as well we tried to support. I'm saying we tried because we can call it we failed. We tried to create a support group for LGBT plus people from Ukraine, because we found out that in Poznan, like in other cities in Poland, there is a lot of foreigners coming from Ukraine. And there are obviously people from LGBT society group. So we wanted to support them. So we decided to create a group to support gay people from Ukraine. And we even received a grant for this activity, but we failed because we created a group. We even hired a mentor for this group, Ukrainian-speaking woman. She was from Ukraine. And it turned out that after 3 months of, marketing of this group, creating different spaces to say, hey, people, we've got a group for you, and we would like to support you. We want to help you. Nobody came. And it turned out that we did some big mistakes on the beginning, assuming that LGBT people from Ukraine now would like to be supported in this way, like Polish people like, because our supporting groups are really highly visited by people. So at the moment we've got 6 supporting groups, and at each group we've got at least 20 members. So for these different groups it's working, but for some reasons it didn't work for Ukrainian people. And then when we tried to find out what were the mistakes and why we failed, because we couldn't understand this, we talked to people, and it turned out that hiring a woman to mentor a group of gay men from Ukraine is not a good idea, because of the difference in the gender, and they would feel much more comfortable with the other men mentoring this group, not with the women. And then the other aspect was that in Poznan especially, we are really open, and you have to know that Poznan sometimes is called a Polish Berlin. So it's also called a rainbow capital city of Poland, because we've got really supporting local authorities. We've got really huge pride marches and different activities that are happening around the city, and we are not hiding. And the level of the acceptance in Poznan is really high. So we assumed that everyone is open enough to come to the group, and it's turned out that no, it's not true. And we have to support Ukrainian gay people in a different way. So this is a story from our group. So we are, making really great things, but still we are trying to find the best way to support foreigners, because we are having this our perspective, typically Polish perspective. And I'm referring to the last question, apologies. But if you have any ideas and you would like to involve and support us in creating a space for people, for supporting people, and you have any ideas and you would like to support us because you are a foreigner, I would love to, talk with you and do some great things with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. My dog even is excited about this possible cooperation. So, but for sure, I have some ideas, so I will write you after the event. But we would love to do something together to help and support LGBT plus community as people who work in the migration field. Just a small follow-up question. Do you have a published report or some information about the data and this relation between coming out and income of
we didn't publish it, but I can share with you this pattern, how you can use and calculate.
That seems like something really interesting, because I suppose it also works for or any other discriminated group, in the environment of company.
Yes, but obviously, yes, and maybe I can mention one more thing. I'm working in an international company, and I can see a lot of initiatives in my workplace that are supporting different groups. So there are groups for supporting LGBT plus people, but there are as well groups for supporting Asian people, Black people, different kind of minorities that are in our workplace. And there are people who are discriminated somehow. for different reasons. And having this in my company, there is a great visibility of this discrimination. So even if you are not in this group, so I'm a white cis woman, so I'm not discriminated because of my skin color. But having a lot of events that are, making us conscious on those and very, sensitive for any signs of discrimination. It's, it's really beneficial in creating really open and diverse workplace. And I can feel really welcome at my workplace, and I believe that everyone feel welcomed because the company is recognizing that these are people who are discriminated and they need some additional support. And this is obvious. So no one, argue with this.
At least I hope nobody will argue about this. But thank you, Anna, for a great introduction. And David, maybe you can share some stories from your work and tell us about how DOMEC, the Krakow Equality Center, and works, and how we can support you or join your work or do something with you.
Sure, thank you. And thank you for such a warm welcome. Well, when I was listening to Anna, I thought like, okay, we are actually doing some very similar work together. However, I'm doing this in Krakow. And apologies for my dog. She just was so excited to join the conversation, so she might be heard. So maybe I will start with DOMEC and the Federation of Equality Science. So when we were starting DOMEC, we were primarily focused on people that are located in Krakow and in the lower, the Małopolska region, and actually not really long after the opening, we noticed that okay, but we do have a lot of foreigners joining us, and we were like, okay, what we can do for them. We were not so powerful as Stonewall yet to start the support group, but maybe we will do it in the future with great help of your knowledge and experience. We started with casual. It's not a self-help group, but casual group for foreigners, which is called Rainbow Foreigners. Because we had and we have a lot of friends from multinationals and corporations that are here in Krakow that didn't have a place to meet and to chat. So we started basically with just giving them space to chat, to meet, and it actually clicked. This is something that we are pretty happy with because it clicked, and we do have a group of, let's say, for now, 20 plus people. Of course, because of the pandemic, it slowed a bit. The meeting slowed a bit, but yes, we do have a group that meets in our place, and after some chit chats and thinking what they can do and what we can do together in DOMEC, they go for a beer. We go for a beer actually, because we try to engage all of the foreigners in the actions that we have in DOMEC. So we have a huge help from our friends when it comes to translating bulletin or working on any of the translations, but also with any consultations, because they are highly specialized people. As I've mentioned, they are working in corporations and or they are scientists doing the research. So we are trying to combine all of the things to benefit together. Adrian, I will leave you some space, but you are not the first Erasmus student or researcher that is joining our team. We were running at least a few programs already together, and what people can have in DOMEC is definitely they can have a safe space. That's the first thing. But not only that, we delivered all of the support, individual support, also in English and in other languages if possible, if needed, of course. So this is what we do, and part of our staff is perfectly English speakers, so we do support as we can. As you all may know or may not, Domek is a meeting point, a cultural place. So if we can, we are running the events in English, or we are doing the movie screenings with subtitles that are available, to include people, because we know how important it is. And what we think is that sometimes we struggle with the foreigners, that they may face the double exclusion. The exclusion because of their LGBT minority, and then they are another minority in another country, and they may not feel welcome. Now I will stop to please my dog, and I will be back just in a second. So, Karol, back to you.
Thanks a lot, David. And maybe we can ask Adrian to share his experiences in working with Domek.
Well, actually, there are some current topics in Poland that they are quite important. Anna said one of them is the problem of the employment in the LGBTQ community, and we have in Spain actually a concept that is called, or so-called actually, the syndrome, the bad syndrome, because of the people that try to apply for a job, they also get the bad. You are prepared, you have the educational certification and so on, but there are a lot of situations even in Spain right now that the LGBT community has some problems to get and apply for a job. And in my opinion about the general situation also for the foreigners, it's about the safety spaces and safety areas. Although we have a lot of safety spaces right now, as for instance the Satnits Federacja, and they provide quite well-developed space and environment to feel free to spread yourself, and also they have, for instance, psychological service. That this is actually quite important in the post-pandemic, because I mean some of them, and I mean the community, the LGBT community, have suffered during the pandemic a lot of stressful situation because they live with some of the verbal abuser, or this bad situation that you live when your inner cycle or your relative don't approve what is the diversity that you can live right now. And regarding the how can the foreigners may receive some help, well, I think that the first upholder here in Krakow, at least, are the NGOs and the civil society. This is quite important in the Eastern countries because their governments have how to say that, they discourage the participatory process, and it's I think that we notice at least in the Mediterranean countries that the post-communist government just try to make policies in the strategy of the up bottom, then they discourage every single time that they need to participate, even in the LGBT community.
Adrian, thank you for coming into the questions we will. I wanted to ask in a second, but I also wanted you to tell about your own work and about your own experience as a member of LGBT plus community in Krakow. What's your personal work? What's your activity about? Can you share a few words about it?
Well, actually, it's the first time that I start to involve in the LGBT community in Krakow. But I think that the last time that I was here in Krakow, I noticed that the background in Krakow it's related mainly in the civil society and the NGOs. They are actually making a huge labor to encourage and stimulate the civil society, the LGBT community. And then also I noticed that the problem in Poland, even I suffered, that they don't believe that there is a plural view for the diversity. And in my opinion, some of the people that I met, even they were foreign, they don't believe that there is a need to have or develop some rights. Like, for instance, in Poland doesn't exist the typical civil how is it called, the penal type for hate speech. And I listened a lot of hated speech in the street here in Krakow. So yeah, it's a long path.
Thank you, Adrian. Thank you. It's very important what you said, and I believe it's not. Unfortunately, there are many people from LGBT plus community who are coming to Krakow and who experience hate speech. And maybe because you answered actually this question, but maybe we can ask Anna.
Sorry about that.
Yeah, about the general situation of LGBT plus communities, the challenges they have to cope with, but also how they can receive help, how they can find help in case they need it.
You all know that in Poland, LGBT situation is not good. Let's say in a very delicate words. We are the worst country regarding LGBT rights in Europe, so it is bad. You have to know that the number of rights that are already in Europe does not exist in Poland. And thus this affects as well Polish people, but foreigners as well. So you have to know that in Poland there is no marriage for two men or two women. It doesn't exist. Even if you are married and you are not Polish citizen, your marriage in Poland is not valid because Polish law doesn't recognize this kind of situation. You have to know that the kids and children that are being raised in LGBT plus families, so rainbow families, are as well not treated like in other countries. So there is only in Polish law only birth mother and birth father, and there is no other possibility. This is the our reality, but it does affect foreigners. And there is a number of regulations that exist in other countries. Like Adrian said, in Polish law, there is no recognition for hate speech related to sexual orientation or identity. So it's not penalized. And you have to know that in Poland, hate speech to people from LGBT plus community is legal because in Polish law, it's not illegal. And so you have to know that Polish law is discriminating LGBT plus people in all aspects of our life. And there is only one place where you can find that in Poland discrimination is not allowed. Discrimination because of your sexual orientation or your identity. It's a law related to the workplace. And this is the only regulation in Poland that says that in Poland it is not allowed to discriminate people at workplace because of the sexual orientation or identity. And that's it. There is no other law that says anything about sexual orientation or identity. This is the only one. So when you are a foreigner coming to Poland, you have to know that the law is like it is, and we are trying to influence and impact the situation, but we are trying to do this for a number of years. And we received a number of promises from different parties that they will take care on this topic. They will support us and create more inclusive law, but they lied. And I'm saying this, in very straight words, but this is the reality that politicians lied to us a number of times. So when you are a foreigner and you need any help, from my perspective, I would reach a local NGOs that is supporting LGBT plus people, because this is the best place where you can receive any help. You will receive help, and you have to know that in Poland, especially young people, but not only, I'm not a young person, but I'm still speaking English. So a lot of people know English, so you can communicate in this language pretty easily. So please, if anything happens, reach the local LGBT plus organization. They will help you for sure. They will find people that will be able to support you, for example, at the police, because you need translation, at different places, at the doctors, whatever. They will find help for you, so reach them. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. There is a comment from Karola. She says, discourage is a very politically correct expression regarding what the central government is doing. And I could add to what Anna said, that it's also great if you would support, if you are able to support in any way LGBT plus local NGOs. That's something every one of us can do. And David, can you tell us what are besides the legal challenges Anna was speaking about, what are other challenges you could tell us about of LGBT plus foreigners living in Poland, and where to look for help in case such a person would need it?
Well, I really like when we activists, let's say, how we are describing the situation in Poland. It's like it's quite unpleasant to live in this country. When, okay, come on, we are all crying last year during the political campaign because it was fucking nightmare. Sorry for the expression, but yes, sometimes it's a nightmare living in Poland. So it's really nice that we can be here and speak about the issues that we have and how we can resolve them. Because the issues we are facing, there are the issues that foreign peoples will face also, however, with less understanding, because they don't have the background. Anna already said that we were lied so many times by the politicians. I think we were sold even. We are being sold every time with the political campaign because we are a super fancy part to talk about. We are easy to hate and super easy to love because we are a nice shiny thing that is like the crown in your political campaign. It's like a diamond, and you can say we love you or we hate you, and you can have the crowd cheering for either of your decisions. So that's the background which people might not, foreign people might not understand. And the only fact that the workplace is taking care of you is actually something that is pretty good. Because from my experience, I know that having a place to work that covers you and supports you is something really important. Well, I'm running the LGBT plus network in Poland for more than 2 years, and we've started as an ally group. And it was a ride. It wasn't like the nice things that you see, like, okay, we are going for the Pride March and we are having our banner. No, actually, the first thing you need to do is change the mindset. Sometimes even when the people who run the company are not from Poland, you need to change some mindset of the subject. Like, are we ready to talk about LGBT at work? Because come on, this is private. No, and we know this is not private because every time you are saying that, okay, I'm going with my husband to the lake, you are talking about your sexual orientation, and oh, that's my children. Oh, that's your sexual orientation also. So being covered by your employer is really important. So this is the first thing you can do, and the second, I will echo what we all said. Support from your local NGOs, because this is our second job that we do from the bottom of our heart. And we are all from the different companies, or we from different specializations. So we do have lawyers, we've got doctors, we've got psychologists. We are the full house of the support. And if we don't have, we know someone who can help you. Because this is how we build our networks. We used to hide for so long, and we built the connections from very different groups, and we're using it because we know that we want to change something, and this is why we are sharing our knowledge, our help, our time, and yeah, reaching out to the local NGO is one of the best ways to receive support. And when you are asking yourself what you can do to support it, apart from supporting us, any NGO, local NGO financially, actually you can donate your time. Because sometimes you don't need to be like the activist with capital A from the beginning. You don't need to like spend 10 hours each day, because we know we all have it as we all have our work to have a full fridge at least, and sometimes we need someone who will spend 2 hours helping us with something, and you can donate just a little tiny bit of your time, and maybe you will find something that interests you, and you can grow with it. Because The very great thing with activism is the same amount of things you are giving away from you receive maybe even more from people around, and you will meet, and you are meeting a lot of amazing people who share the values. And sharing values, I think, is the most important thing that we should be looking in people. So when you find people who share your values, you will definitely grow. So time is what we are looking for.
And if I may, I can add that if you donate your time, you will receive a really great people to talk with,
Yes.
and really great people to sometimes even live with, because I know, and in Stonewall we've got a number of people that, you know, are couples because they met on our pride, they met on being volunteer and helping us in creating marches. So it's even better than Tinder.
Yes, I fully agree.
Thanks for this great encouragement to join LGBT plus NGOs in their work. And thank you very much, David, Anna, and Adrian. And this is the time I can thank you for your great work. And I'm always amazed how the LGBT plus movement is growing thanks to your work. And it's great because it also affects other NGOs, and it shows that the change is possible. And that's my last question, because we are finishing, and I encourage our listeners, if you have any questions, please write them in the comment section. That's the last chance to do it. And I wanted to ask if you see any signs of hope, any signs of positive change, and if you would have any piece of advice for regular citizens of Poland, it doesn't matter if they are foreigners or non-foreigners, how can we help in changing toward the good change, toward this, building hope for LGBT plus people in Poland? And maybe we can start with Adrian, who has great experience, and you experienced Poland, I suppose, for some time and with some kind of break, right?
Yep. Okay, I think that there is hope because Europe, as we know, is suffering actually a current problem, a demographic problem. So I think that the generational change will come. Probably in a near future. I don't know when, but it will come. And one of the main topics that made not take account about the diversity and the sexual orientation of the modern population are cleavage that just hold right now Europe, and one of them is the religious, another the politician cleavage. But anyway, I think that in my experience here in Poland, it's a positive change that it in less than 10 years appeared a lot of NGOs and also other groups and organizations and formal organizations related with protect and look for safety places and areas for the LGBTQ community. So yeah, I think that there is hope and the change will come.
Thank you very much, Adrian. And I will read some of the comments, because we have many comments here. Magdalena asks, please tell how to join LGBT plus organization where to write, etc. I think I can answer. If David and Anna will have something to add, please do. Magdalena, you can check Domek, Centrum Równości, which is Krakow Equality Center, if you are from Krakow. If not, you can check Grupa Stonewall Group from Poznan. And if you write any of these organizations, they will show you the way how to join and support LGBT plus organization. Clinton wrote, "Thank you for sharing. I hope Poland will improve and be a better place to live for all of us." Clinton, thank you very much for this comment. And yeah, I invite you to join us and try to work for that, because yeah, it's the responsibility of all of us. But there is also a long comment from Anna. "It would be nice if any speaker talks a little bit about local issues and news which are commonly known by Polish LGBT plus people, that it's assumed everybody knows it. Let me explain. I'm not so long in Poland, and I have noticed that I'm completely out of local context. And because of this, I don't understand some things. For example, on May 16th, celebration of Idaho in Krakow was organized as a sport training. First, when I saw news about this event, I were just, why sport training? Why not watching some film or lecture or whatever? Then I found news that recently it was a case when homophobic people attacked someone at similar LGBT plus sport training, and I realized that this way it was a way of celebrating 17th May as something very symbolic. So if you could provide some other essential issues and cases that influenced LGBT plus community in Poland and in Krakow, it would be great. Thank you." And Karola asks, "What's your best advice for people who are not a part of LGBT plus society but would like to support this movement?" I can answer this question partially. For me, as this type of a person, I am devoting much of my time to listen to LGBT plus people and try to know their situation, and I believe knowledge is a powerful tool. But that's my own answer. And David and Anna, can you share some? Maybe we can answer Anna's long question in a way that we will share some recent event which influenced your own work, and it was let's say something which gave you hope. David, maybe we can start. I know it's not easy, but if you don't come up with an idea, we can come back to that. But maybe
actually, I came with one. Actually, the struggle that we faced with the women's rights marches recently, and the situation of the LGBT plus people on the marches. Well, this is often quite unpleasant situation when there is, like, for example, for the women's march, or let's say some climate change march, when people are saying, okay, but why is your rainbow flag here? We don't want your rainbow because this is not the case. And yeah, this is something that happens in Poland, that when our rainbow support that we show to all of the causes that we support, that tries to be excluded from the situation. It was quite loud heard during the women's marches recently, and the situation of the naming convention regarding that we include people, all of the people in the discussion, as well as LGBT people, because the situation needs its focus, and we should use the attention. So this is something that sometimes the LGBT plus community is being discouraged from showing their support to other causes. because I don't know. People think that we only what we do is rainbow. No, we do have a lot of other interests. So we support a lot of causes like the climate change, women, or even taxes. We even do taxes. So yeah,
A lot of taxes.
unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yes. Thank you, David. And Anna, last but not least, one more time.
So, as David said about the situation with the rainbow flags and this discouraging us from being from supporting other movements, I would say a little bit about the hope. So I do have a lot of hope because I really do believe in young people in Poland, and I really believe that in them, in those people, especially born in 20s and late, very young people, and I can see that they are very active, they are very open, and they live outside Poland mentally, I would say. I can observe really young people, not kids, because my daughter would kill me if I say that she's a kid being a 13. It's really serious age. I really do believe in young people because I have a number of situations with my daughter, and not only with her, speaking to young people, and when they are sharing their thoughts, and when it comes to speaking about LGBT plus people rights, then the main response from them, what to discuss about? It's obvious. We are all people. Love is love. If anyone does not understand this, it's this person's issue, not mine. So I do not care about this person. And that's it. End of story. They are not discussing. They are not, explaining, educating. No, they are just, it's obvious. And when my daughter decided, being 13 in Polish public school, to came out as a person being raised in a rainbow family, and it happened a few weeks ago, so she was really afraid. She was scary, and when it happened, the reactions from the kids, from her classmates, were so fantastic that it's, my heart melted at the second, because the kids respond, why did you even came out earlier? What did you afraid? We are supporting you. You are our colleague. There is no discussion around any issues. We don't care. And, end of story. There were a few comments. None of the comments were, aggressive, not supporting. The worst was just okay, so acknowledged. But the rest of the kids, and especially one who, said that anyone who would say anything unpleasant to my daughter because of the family, he would be smashed, written with the caps lock, with all the other kids, because Paula, so my daughter, is our colleague, and we're not allowed to hurt her. And that's it. So I really do believe in kids, and I would say, if you would like to support LGBT plus community and you don't know how to do it, if you have kids, ask them and listen to your kids. And if you don't know, if you don't have any kids, just reach the local NGOs, because we as it was said, we do need help, and if you have any possibilities to share with us some of your time, some of your talents, some of your expertise, some of your experience, maybe some of your job, abilities, please reach us and offer your time, offer something, cooperate with us. Currently at Stonewall Group, we are starting gathering people, volunteers for Pride March in Poznan and Pride Week in Poznan, because we are celebrating Pride for whole week in Poznan. So we are really happy to welcome you, and please reach us and work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Anna. It was great words, and I'm really moved with what you said. I would be, if I would live in Poznan, I would be a volunteer for sure. David or Adrian, are you going to organize something in Krakow like this?
What we are looking for when it comes to organization of big events, we are organizing our second birthday as the Domek Equality Center, because the first one were actually they didn't happen because of the pandemic, but we will celebrate the double birthday then just in June, because we opened in June 15, 2019. So we've got a great pleasure. So we are now not asking you to help us, but to join us in the celebration. We know that we do have a Pride March organized, I think, in August, end of August, and we will be joining it as well. However, for now, we ask you to join us in our garden at Domek, and follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more details, because this is just a sneak peek that was not even yet confirmed publicly. But yeah, we are looking forward to see you, and it is the great opportunity to you to meet us in person and actually to meet the community. And you can learn a lot from the community, and you can eat great food because we cook great. So yeah, we are looking forward to meet you in person at Domek.
Okay, thank you, David. I'm for sure coming, because I assume there will be some delicious stuff to eat.
Yes.
And I know many people from Domek, so I love this great, fantastic people. Karola and Magdalena, I hope your questions were answered. And unfortunately, I must finish this conversation. So I recommend you to follow Grupa Stonewall, Domek, Krakowskie Centrum Równości fan pages. You will see the links in one of the last comment I posted. Of course, please share this conversation, so many people will know how to help, how to support, how to join NGOs, and how to support fantastic foreigners from LGBT+ community in Krakow and in Poland. Adrian, David, and Anna, many thanks. It was a great conversation, and I learned a lot. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks,
and
everyone.
One thing, we've got Instagram for English-speaking people. So Stonewall Group on Instagram, you can find English posts.
Stonewall Group is the name of the profile?
Yes.
Okay. Thanks, Anna. And thank you, David, and thank you, Adrian.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Bye.
Enjoy the rest.